culture, rock paintings represent the crocodile during the creation, giving birth to man. In the Western world during the Middle Ages, it was even believed that the depths of hell could be seen through the crocodile's mouth. Unfortunately, this animal, one of the rare existent man-eaters, deserves its reputation. The fear and horror it inspires is universal. With the help of the explorer's fertile imagination, the crocodile became the evil and bloody monster of all sorts of myths and legends. Emerging from the jungle in the nick of time, Tarzan demonstrates the way to close the animal's deadly jaws. Defeating a crocodile is an act of heroism. The signal has been launched. Hunt the crocodile using whatever means are necessary to kill and to profit from this filthy beast.
When you have crocodiles, the real problem you have is that they eat people. Now, everything that does that, people value negatively. From a conservation point of view, you have had it. You've got the worst possible situation.
Crocodiles first appeared on Earth 220 million years ago. Our planet contains several species which are undoubtedly the largest, most powerful, and most dangerous of all reptiles. The marine crocodile, or Porosus of Australia, is the largest in the world. The biggest specimen ever captured measured more than 10 meters. Crocodile teeth are used more for penetrating and holding the flesh of their prey rather than cutting it. The power of its jaws enables it to easily crush an ox's head. However, man's main interest in this animal is its skin. A skin consisting of scales of thick leather whose suppleness and elasticity give it incredible resistance. This unique skin, made up of geometric squares and stunning tones, has always been coveted by man. The principal qualities of this magnificent leather is due to the fact that the crocodile divides its time between the water, the sun, and the land, which is why this amazing predator was almost decimated by man. Its only predator once the animal reaches adulthood. In the early 20th century, crocodiles became the prey of unscrupulous settlers. The hunter's motto, "You filthy beast, you'll end up as a handbag," created an incredible carnage. Abuses gave free rein to the most tasteless eccentricities in the leather goods and house furnishing trades. Luxury products and cheap souvenirs abounded. In the 1950s, trade was at record levels. In Australia, 5 to 10 million skins were sold annually.
After the Second World War, in 1946, the demand for crocodile skins increased, and hunters, mostly soldiers back from the war, thought this was wonderful. And so they went and harvested crocodiles, and nobody really cared or thought about the future. Crocodiles were considered pests, so it didn't matter. But by the 1950s and then the 1960s, the numbers were going down and down and down.
In the 1960s, faced with this massacre and the extermination of certain species, protective measures were taken, and the first breeding farms were established in many countries, such as Thailand. Unfortunately, the obsession with profit, the total lack of scruples for the animal raised under mass production conditions like chickens, and the creation of a hybrid species with a faster growth rate took precedence. Thailand completely abandoned the preservation of wild crocodiles and their survival zones. The result was that these animals disappeared from their natural environment and became products of exploitation or country fair attractions.
Producing crocodiles for the industry through captive breeding is not a good thing because it doesn't give any benefit back to the wild population.
In northern Australia, the crocodile is both feared and respected. Ancestrally, the Aborigines hunt it for its delicate-tasting meat, which families share. Forbidding this practice is impossible. Northern Australians have therefore found a system diametrically opposed to the Thai model, since commercial exploitation lies above all on the protection of the animal in nature, with of course safeguards for man.
The Northern Territory was one of the first places to realise that unless they made crocodiles economically valuable to people, that people were just not going to conserve them or want to conserve them. People have a long history of conserving things, buildings, paintings, stories, religious icons, and the common element is they have never conserved anything that they do not value.
The idea that wildlife must pay for its protection has been developed over the past 20 years by Australian biologist Graham Webb. In 1978, he created a model farm which combined exploitation and scientific research on crocodile behavior. The willingness to perpetuate traditions, the respect for the animal, and Graham Webb's passion are undoubtedly the conditions best adapted to the breeding and preserving of the Porosus crocodile. A balanced protein diet, separating the animals by size or sex in order to limit conflicts resulting from the instinct to dominate, as well as strict antibacterial sanitary measures, justifies the price of Porosus crocodile skins. Considered the most expensive and the most sought after in the world, this quality has been appreciated for almost a century by 3 French crocodile skin tanners. In the last 10 years, Australia has exported about 37,000 skins to France.
I would say that the exploitation of crocodile skin goes back to the 1920s. And it began in the handbag and shoe industries with very classic items. We ourselves began in 1928, with my grandfather to be exact. One day he was offered a quantity of reptile skins, which he sent out to be tanned at a French tannery. And that's how it all began.
Preparing the skin requires more than 2 months of work. After removing the scales from the epidermis, the skins are processed in order to give them a uniform thickness. They are soaked in chrome baths, which increase their resistance and elasticity. A second tanning reveals the imperfections in the skin, thus enabling the selection of the finest leather for the large Parisian luxury product houses.
There are obviously many grades from 1 to 6. First choice skins are reserved exclusively for Hermès to make their most beautiful luxury products and handbags. These skins, destined for Hermès and Hermès alone, are the very top.
Once the skins have been dyed to customer specifications, they are polished under strong pressure, using an agate stone, which brings out their natural brilliance. Only the stomach skin is used for leather goods, but the Australians don't stop there.
We utilise all of the animal when we process it, apart from its gut, pretty much. We use the head and the teeth and the back piece of skin. We salt the skins after the skins have been removed from the animal, and then we ship them to our customers. And we have orders in France, Italy and Japan.
2 adult skins measuring 1.50 to 1.80 meters are needed to make one handbag.
One of the things that people don't realise is that the drivers of the conservation program here, the real people that are making this conservation program work, are the people in France. The people that are buying the skins, the people that are tanning the skins, that are people that are insisting on high quality products in France, and eventually the public that are buying those products.
Since the establishment of an international quota system by the CITES, the prestigious luxury goods houses in Paris and elsewhere have become aware of the need to protect an animal whose extinction would mean the end to this part of their business. The high level of quality demanded by the luxury goods industry has raised the price of crocodile skins, thus indirectly guaranteeing the longevity of conservation programs. This success, however, also explains the exceptional quality of the porosis crocodile skin.
Technically, the porosis is different from other species. The scales, which are the same size as others, are much finer. In addition, there are 32 scales on the ventral part of the animal, compared to 26 on other species. The scales are very fine and very regular. This is the main reason for the very high price of the product. The porosis is considered to have a very classic skin, perfect, thanks to the regularity of the scales, making it the height of perfection.
Porosis leather is 4 times more expensive than other crocodile leather. The cost of conservation and research, however, the hours of work on the skins, the rarity of the product, and the passion and talent of designers all justify the price of these incredible creations. At Christian Dior, these haute couture porosis dresses could cost close to 150,000 euros. And to give a final touch to an ensemble, a small crocodile handbag at more than 6,000 euros at Morabito or Dior and over 12,000 euros at Hermès.
The price of a crocodile skin is based on the width of the animal's ventral area, since this is the part we generally use and can vary between 15 and 22 euros per centimetre of width. 2 skins about 40 centimetres wide are needed to make an 80 centimetre wide handbag.
In addition to the cost of the raw material, prices are justified by the talent of the last true leather goods artisans.
It's truly a craft. The work, even for the highest quality name brands, or at least most of them, is still manual. Producing the skins is itself the work of craftsmen, since there are many operations which cannot be automated because of the unevenness of the skin itself. Even today, at the manufacturing level, the handbag remains the work of artisans, often made by hand, sewn by hand, the skins are cut by hand, and the entire bag is assembled by hand. Therefore, hours of work are necessary. The durability of crocodile leather makes it quite interesting. These are items which can last for decades without any alteration to the quality level, which is very rare in such products. It's not simply snobism. The lifespan of a crocodile handbag can be as long as 40 years without any notable change, especially if one is careful with it.
Today, buying a porous skin luxury product is no longer in contradiction with nature conservation. It's the first echelon of a global protection system of which the crocodile is the principal beneficiary. Although this marine crocodile exploitation and protection program is considered a success, its functioning is quite complex. At each step, all the players are concerned and motivated by the porosis' protection. Farmers, for example, are paid very well for removing the eggs in nature and thus care a great deal about protecting the animal and its environment. Eggs are laid during the rainy season, making the helicopter indispensable in this swampy area. The ribbon thrown from the helicopter helps the farmers to find the nests. It's a risky operation since the females could be hiding nearby. A few blows of the paddle on the high grass and extreme caution are both musts. Only 50% of the eggs are taken, which represents no danger to the natural population, since ironically, the fewer babies born, the greater the newborn's chance of survival. This natural regulatory principle, applicable to crocodiles, was discovered by Graham Webb. His research was mainly financed by the Australian government and the exploitation of the farms. In order for the embryo to avoid being crushed by the egg yolk, the eggs are marked to maintain their position.
When we first started to commercialise crocodiles, people were concerned. They thought using crocodiles was bad, and they thought using crocodiles from the wild was more bad than if you bred them in captivity and used them. So that's where it really came from. We now know that that is absolutely stupid, because if you use them from the wild sustainably, you make the wild resource valuable. You could breed all the crocodiles the industry wanted in Paris, if you wanted to, and give no commercial benefits to conservation at all.
The eggs are placed in incubation for 75 to 85 days under optimum conditions, at a temperature of 32 degrees Celsius, a humidity of 100%, and strong ventilation. Here, Graham Webb's partner, Adam Britton, gives the babies a better chance to survive than they would have in the wild.
Okay, guys. Let's go. Whoa!
Devoured by predators such as snakes, lizards, birds, and crocodiles themselves, only 10 to 30% of the babies born in nature reach the age of 1. The great care given to the newborns, in addition to guaranteeing an excellent skin quality, offers the possibility of studying the animals to determine variations in their weight and size over a period of years.
But the main problem with juveniles is the fact that they die very easily. Probably the hardest part of farming crocodiles is raising the juveniles. Until these animals get to be 1 year of age, the chances of them dying are fairly high. And so we have to take very great care in the first year. And we have to make sure that the animals don't get stressed, because if they get stressed, they'll stop eating, they'll stop growing, and it affects their immune system. Once the animals get beyond a year of age, then it's very difficult to actually kill them. They become bulletproof.
Thanks to their being protected since the late 60s, crocodiles have increased.